Hello, friends, and welcome to episode 229 of the Noclip podcast. It's a Crewcast. The whole shebang are here. The Irish guy, the Canadian guy, the skater dude, and I could have liked both of you, actually.
Yeah, sure.
And the mountain man. Let's go with that.
Frank.
Hey, Frank. Mountain man Frank. Mountain man Jeremy Jane. How are you guys? How you guys doing? I was away most of this weekend, up in the mountains, actually, in the Sierras.
So you're the mountain man.
I'm the mountain man this week. Jeremy Jane, what's your favorite part of the Sierra Nevada mountains?
Oh, that's such a hard question.
Maybe Sophie's choice.
I really like Mono Lake. I love
That's where you get mono.
That's where you get mononucleosis. Lake Tahoe, obviously a classic. There's some good lesser known areas around there. Silver Lake, not the neighborhood in Los Angeles. Nevada City, a classic, a hippie classic.
I was in Nevada City, Arizona, and sorry, Nevada. Not Nevada. No, not Nevada City. I'm getting confused. I was in Virginia City, Nevada. Have you ever been there?
No. So Nevada City is California and Virginia City is Nevada.
Yes.
Okay, that's
Nevada,
very confusing.
Nevada City is by Grass Valley, right? That's
yes,
like
exactly.
the hippie spot. Okay. Cool. Jesse, I'll come back to Virginia City. Jesse, what's your favorite state in America?
I like Massachusetts because it's the only one I've been in, and it's where
Nice.
Jeremy's from, so it has to be the best one.
Lobster rolls.
Yep.
Love it. Frank, what is the one animal you would not eat in a roll?
I don't. Well, I was gonna say I don't trust lobster rolls. I don't know.
You don't?
What?
They're all over
Because
the place. They're like
I'm
not good
curious.
half the time.
I need a little more explanation on that.
It was like $40 for a single lobster roll. That's
right.
crazy.
Lobster
they put
like, is
MP
it-
on there
it's-
and then they scam you.
It's market price, dude.
I'm
It's
not
fucking-
paying market price. All
I
right.
feel like they could charge like $1 for like a rat roll, and that'd be like way better. I don't know.
rat roll. Do you like lobster?
It's too expensive, so I won't allow my palate to get a taste for it. Otherwise, I'm screwed.
It is too expensive, and the fun fact that everyone knows about lobster is that it used to be so abundant that it was prisoner food back in the day. Like they would just feed it to poor people and prisoners and stuff. So it is ridiculous that it's become one of the most expensive things you can eat.
It looks like something you kill 100 of in Skyrim. You know what I mean?
It does
they
look
are
like a
just-
Starship Troopers villain.
Yeah, it's weird. It makes complete sense to me that they would feed these fucking disgusting sea
Here's your
crabs.
water bug.
Yeah, you can eat bugs.
Yeah. These fucking mire lurks or whatever those fucking guys in Fallout are. Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Fucking
pincers.
to prisoners. That makes complete. They don't like. It doesn't have the elegance of the pig.
Yeah, here, enjoy a claw. And they're
Yeah,
like,
here,
oh man,
eat a-
claw again? Fuck.
Eat a weird pink animal that rolls in its own shit. That's so class.
With butter. I'm trying to watch my cholesterol. The prisoners are all pissed off. Like, feed me better. Where's my vegetables?
No more
Definitely
bugs.
top of their list. Of,
Yeah, that's what they're
problem.
concerned about, not the mistreatment.
Frank not liking lobster rolls is the most West Coast thing, though. You know what I mean? That's a very West Coast versus East Coast sort of beef thing.
Are
Frank,
you more
tell
of
me
a
a-
poke bowl guy, burritos?
I was
I
gonna say,
love-
tell
I
me
love
as
poke bowls.
what's
I
your
like
favorite
it. I knew
Southern
it.
California food, so I can decide
Yeah.
that I hate it right now.
Oh man,
to counteract
I feel
the
like
lobster roll.
poke bowls. I mean, I know it's like in Hawaii and other stuff. But I feel like it's such a that was like such a SoCal trend. Even like also like a decade ago or 2 decades ago when like frozen yogurt stands started popping up everywhere in frozen yogurt shops, and then COVID like shut them all down, and then they're reopening again. I don't know what else is SoCal. Burritos is a very SoCal thing.
Yeah. Hot honey on everything for no reason.
We're having
good, though.
fights over the usage of rice in burritos within the state, though. So
Really?
The mission
that's
style
already-
burrito.
Yeah, it's already an issue. Up here in NorCal, we filled them with the mission style, as Jeremy said. We fill them with rice, but then in Frank lived in San Diego for a while. They don't fuck around at all. It's just pure meat and bean, and that's it. You're done. I like to go with the California burrito, which is in itself a statement of intent that the California burrito doesn't do rice, but does put French fries in it, which is
It's
also
very good. It's very
Yeah.
fucking good.
Really?
yeah. California burrito is a good way to kill yourself.
There was a food truck that used to park near the GameSpot offices in San Francisco. That was, I'm trying to remember the name. It was Senor Sisig. It was
Yes.
it was burritos, but with Sisig Filipino.
I think so.
I think it is too. But
I thought you were just saying seasick, like you're just Senor throwing up on his boat.
Senor Seasick.
Seasick is what
What, you guys want to go get some seasick?
No,
yeah,
they serve
baby.
lobster rolls. You got it all backwards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Anyway, so Sisig, Filipino dish, but they would do like Filipino burritos that were crazy.
I was in a Placerville, which myself and Jeremy are having an existential crisis about because I always thought it was Placerville or
Yes.
maybe Placerville, but the lady in the restaurant I was in, my parents said it was Placerville, which sounds. Do you want to tell the story of what Placerville used to be called?
I guess so. So it's there. You can still see signs around. Let me first say, I think it's Placerville because it's a placer of gold and it's a gold mining town. But who am I to tell the locals that they're pronouncing their own hometown wrong? So I'll step out of that one. But it's also known colloquially as Hangtown.
Yes.
In reference to the harsh frontier justice that would be meted out to I don't know, presumably to people who are like claim jumping. I don't fucking know.
So I looked this up because I was like, okay, if you're calling it Hangtown, which hanging are we talking about? Are we talking about frontier justice? Are we talking about racial? I was about to say justice.
Injustice.
No.
Injustice. Thank you. Phew. Because I'm like, I want to know. Because they had Hangtown written. I was sitting in this pub, and they had past my mom, past the window, just the word Hangtown was written. I was like, what the fuck? Like, and there's people like taking pictures in front of Hangtown. So apparently what happened was like a Mexican either gambler or just a guy with a lot of money got ripped off by a crew of people, and they found 3 of them. It was, I think, 2 French guys and a Costa Rican or something. They were just like a bunch of, ne'er-do-wells. And because the town didn't have its own like constabulary, it didn't have any sheriff or anything, they just fucking hung 3 of them in a tree in town. So it wasn't even like there was that many hangings. There was just kind of one, and then people called it Hangtown, and then it became like the sort of de facto name. And then a bunch of the churches and what is it again? The League of, it's the crowd who were like
Extraordinary gentlemen.
exactly. The pro-prohibition people.
Temperance.
League of Temperance, thank you. The League of Temperance people, basically the no fucking fun people. They basically were like, we don't want to live in Hangtown. Can we rename this place? And then they called it either Placerville or Placerville. Placerville is a significantly worse name than Placerville. It is the most default name of a town you could possibly have.
Yeah, it's place town.
Welcome to Village City.
Right?
Yeah.
Ridiculous. They only just got rid of the noose in the Placerville logo, town logo, about 2 years ago. So
Oh my goodness. So
Google
dude,
it.
George Floyd happened and they were like, hold on, let's just wait and
Let's
see.
re-examine.
Let's see how we feel about it.
Do they still
mostly
have?
about hanging French robbers, but
Yeah, you guys got it all wrong. It's not a race thing at all.
It's like every time I look at Jack Daniels, I'm like, oh, made in Lynchburg? We're not going
Right.
to change that. Okay.
yeah,
is that
Placerville. Sorry, go
that
ahead.
might be an issue with Irish as well, because Lynch is a very common surname in Ireland. So there
Right.
might be
Well, I
places
mean,
called Lynch.
There's words like that where it's like, it means this in a different language. It's like, I would still change it. It means something in this one right now, and that's bad.
There was a lady on Irish television, a news presenter, whose name was Avril Hoare.
Oh my god.
Yikes.
Yeah. So, Irish surnames in English causing people problems out there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, if your last name is a racial slur, you change it regardless of the cultural history.
What if it's a whore? What if it's
I mean, even then, do they still
what
have
if it's
the
one of the worst
in the air.
derogatory terms you can possibly think of?
Do they still have the hanging man? There's a mannequin hanging by a noose in Placerville. Do they still have that?
see it. I was looking for it because I saw it in a picture while I was on Wikipedia in that pub for 20 minutes. Because me and my parents had run out of things to talk about because we'd been in a car together for about 400 miles in the past 3 days. So we're just sitting there staring at each other. I did have, just on the fusion food thing though, I did have a very confusing meal there where I think it was a banh mi tacos, but I think they used Korean like style chicken in it.
Okay.
So it was like
Triple fusion.
it's kind of quad because banh mi is already French and Vietnamese.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
you're sort of French, Vietnamese, Mexican,
not by choice. I don't
Korean.
think.
That's true.
On me being French.
That's true. I got the baguette. Oh man, see, there you go. Banh mi is the fucking West Coast lobster roll. Surely,
Yeah, I
can see that.
It's close enough, I guess.
Market price banh mi, $35. Not again. Get them.
Not in my town.
Nope.
Stick them up on that lynch. Put them on.
Not
that
in
tree.
Lynchtown.
Bring
Not
him to,
happening.
Bring him to Placerville.
Oh, brother.
Frank, what is the stupidest named place where you live? Actually, there's a lot of stupid. I feel like there's a
Man.
lot of.
I don't know. I feel like I don't know. My town name itself is like annoying because it doesn't fit in any address field on a website. It's Rancho Santa Margarita, but when you type it in, every form has a 25 character limit. So Rancho Santa Margarita, and it stops there. So like I always get
you live
nervous.
in a South Park ass joke
Yeah,
name
it's
town.
I was gonna
such a
say you live in
long-
the Rocket Power town where they
It's such
lived
a
in
long,
Rocket Power.
yeah. That's why, like, a lot of times I just say, like, oh, I live in like Orange County, LA, or Irvine, but you can shorten it to RSM. But it's like it's always just caused problems on websites. They made this city before websites were such a big deal. They screwed up, so I don't know. Like Irvine's a great town name. It's like what is that? Like 8 characters, whatever. It's perfect. I don't know.
I love that you grew up with your metric for town name being character length.
Yeah, how fast can you type it? Like that's
Yeah.
why I really like my name Frank, 5 characters, you know, like that's
Howley.
awesome. I feel like
Yeah.
everyone talks about like getting like 3 character URL. You want like short, like, you know. So Frank is a 5 character first name, first username. That's good. I'll take it. Yeah.
How do you feel about having an apostrophe in your surname?
Oh man, does that screw up websites?
Yeah, does that mess
Oh,
stuff
yeah.
up for you? Do you like? Is it just Danny Oddwire? And they don't know his
Oddwire.
name? Yeah.
I get a lot of like ampersand NPSB Dwyer or whatever.
Oh,
you know what I mean?
man.
Because like
Right.
their fucking non-Unix backend couldn't figure out what the comma was and spat it out in fucking Unicode or whatever.
My wife, when we got married, her full name, I'm not going to say everything, but her first name is Cassandra, obviously.
Okay.
Her last name was really long.
Okay.
So she's like, we'll get married and I'll have your last name. My
Right.
full last name is longer than Garasha. It's Garasha de Arania.
Right.
So
you should fucking double barrel that shit. Just make her like
I
that
said we
town
should
in
put it all
Wales
together.
with the-
You could, yeah, Goodly go to Gawk or whatever the hell. Yeah, we could have some like joke name, but no. I was saying to her, when you get your name changed, you're not going to have any positive effects here. It's longer now. So whenever she goes to the hospital or anywhere where she needs to give a government document, her first name is the letter C. That's it. Because they need the last
Wow.
name. So she's sitting and waiting for the doctor or whatever. They'll be like, is C here? And she has to stand up like, yeah.
Oh
It's
my
me.
god.
What up? It's your girl C. What's happening?
C.
Yeah.
The daughter of Senior Seasick. Seasick.
All comes back to Seasick.
C. That's great.
That's
so
brutal.
So on her form, like it's just she puts down C. That's
Yeah.
like, wow. This was a whole. I didn't know this was a problem people had with long names. You know who's a long name?
Who?
Eric Hamilton Schneider, one of our Battle Pass holders, along with Lovepreet, Ute, Dwayne the Rock Lobster, Anthony Thomas, Nico Passateri, It's a me, Ferrario, Penelope Hayes, Senator Armstrong, oh my God, who is this? Redreg. It looks like Dredge, that band that had that one song. Redreg, Harry Flanagan, Juice, Arno, Matt Pearson, James Brown, Mark Ross, Tucker Morgan, David McGarry, Goddison, Sven Hooster, Pez, John Akers, Ewan Nate, Tim Robinson, Forrest Pruitt, Jonathan Kremen, Eric Hamilton Schneider, who I said already, Christopher Toohey, Cameron Laird, Zachary Snader, Alex Goucher, George Sakotis, Jacob Godserve, Entheogen, or maybe it's Entheogen. We'll have to ask the people at Hangtown. James Med, Tohir Tiliev, and Ryson, thank you all so much for supporting us over at patreon.com/noclip. Really appreciate it. We're working on a whole bunch of shit. Got that first episode of our Everbloom series, Dunzo. I sent it over to them to see if they think I fucked up all the stuff they were talking about. Jeremy did a sick ass job in that edit, and I've just been finishing it off. I'm good at finishing things off over here, as Jeremy knows. So that's what I've been doing over here. We got some video games to talk about this week. What'd you guys get up to on the weekend, though? Did you do anything? Did you guys do anything?
Yeah, went for what did we do? Went for my first very long drive. I have not driven for an hour straight yet, so that was fun. Very long, relatively speaking. I usually just drive like 20 minutes around town. So that was fun. We went up north, just north of Guelph, Ontario, to a little village called Erin to have lunch, and then hung out with my uncle, who I haven't seen in quite a while. He's getting up there in years, so it was nice to see him again, and he's doing well. In the beautiful random area that they're in. They're like in the middle of the woods. It's this big plot of land. They have like a barn. I guess they kind of live in the same sort of situation as you, Danny. They have like a barn, animals nearby. There's like sometimes wolves, sometimes gophers. Who knows?
Sounds like they live in the action. My parents came here and they were like, "Oh, this house is way closer to your house than we thought." Because
you made it sound like you were on
and I probably took all the photographs I took. Probably didn't have the neighbors. And
Right.
I'm on
Forced
a street with
perspective.
other people here. Yeah. I would, like Jeremy was out in fucking Sebastopol. Well, I guess you were on a street too, but it just it seemed like you were
it
way
was
more out
deceptive. I was in like a little tiny shack in a neighborhood that had multi-million-dollar houses around it for some reason.
exactly,
But I found someone who was like, "Yeah, I have millions of dollars of property, but all I have there is this shack you can live in."
Exactly. Did you say the place was called Guelph?
Just the city nearby, the main one, Guelph.
It's like a fantasy continent.
We have some silly names up here for cities and towns. It's awesome.
Should have asked you that instead of Frank. Although I do get that beautiful Santa Maria, Santa Margaritaville. Sick shirt, by the way. Speaking of Margaritaville, if you're not watching this on YouTube, you're missing out on Frank's incredible.
Yeah, it's a real Jimmy Buffett shirt.
Oh,
It is.
Yeah.
Jimmy Buffett, Street Fighter 2.
It's a print of every single Street Fighter 2 stage. I forgot. I wore this like a Memorial Day party yesterday, so it was like I needed
Appropriate, yeah.
Yeah, but it's like it's just every Street Fighter.
Thank
2
you for
stage.
serving. Guile served, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I see the car. Is the barrels? I can't see the barrel. Oh, I do see the barrels. They're in the middle. Look at that. Bonus stages and everything.
That's right.
Unbelievable. I forgot to tell. I went off on one about Nevada City for a second. Have you been to Nevada City, Jeremy?
Nevada City? Yeah, love it.
Sorry, I fucking did it again. Virginia
City?
Virginia
No,
City.
never even heard of it.
It's just south of Reno, and it is an old, like, cowboy ass town. So it's like a really well preserved gold town. And it's like the most. I just wanted to bring my dad somewhere where they did cowboy shit because we used to let me stay up and watch cowboy movies in Ireland, and I was like, all right, if you're coming out to California, we have to go somewhere that's cowboy-ish. So we went to this place, and it's like full of like restaurants and bars, and people are dressing up like fucking cowboys and sex workers and all type of bandits and everything. But then there was a lot of Trumpy people there, and apparently they had a parade that day, but it was like a Memorial Day parade, but a very Trumpy Memorial Day parade, it turns out. So I got to show my parents all that shit.
I have heard of Virginia City, and the only time I've ever, because as soon as you said it, I looked it up, and I was like, why does this look so familiar if I've never been here? The only time I've ever heard of it was a video that went viral of a guy, a business owner in Virginia City, being extremely racist to some woman. And then she reported it to the news, and everyone was like, fuck this guy, shut his business down. So that is my only experience. So it checks out what you're reporting.
Yeah, it makes sense why the Trumpers would have a parade there. Although having a parade for Trump on Memorial Day is hilarious. It's like, yeah, my favorite draft dodger. Let's go.
It also strikes me as the type of place that is like absolutely sodden down in government subsidies. It is so far from fucking anywhere.
Right.
This place. It's like actually it's like 20 minutes outside Carson City.
Is it like a tourist trap kind of thing, or do people really live there?
It was kind of a bit more tourist trappy than I was thinking.
Yeah.
And then we drove around. My parents wanted to see what the town looked like, and we drove around, and it was very economically bleak. But I suspect everyone in the town works in the entertainment business, which is kind of, that's like, sure, that's what those towns were.
Yeah.
It was everyone worked in the mine. Now everyone works in the
Service industry.
Service mine.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah, you're either selling snakeskin shoes or bad
Snake oil,
flat beer, or snake oil. Exactly. That was the segue there. We got 3 games here. 2 a T. The Oni. That's the latest Keita Takahashi game, which is not out currently, but will be at time of publish. Onimusha 2's remaster as well. Frank was diving into that. But Jeremy and Jesse, I want to talk to you guys about the game you have down here. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon. It's a name generated in the AI minds, I suspect. What is Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon? Both of you have played it. I have not heard of this at all. I looked it up before the show, but
Jeremy, why did you play this?
Because I love Oblivion, and
I love board games called Tainted Grail: The Fall of Avalon. That's
no, I just I like first-person fantasy RPGs, and right. I played the original Oblivion 2 years ago. I fired it up a little bit recently and played a little more of it, and I was like, I could go for a new first-person fantasy RPG. And also, I missed out on Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, so I felt like this was my chance to be. Instead of hearing other people be excited about it, I wanted to be excited about it.
My path for getting to this, by the way, very strange. I had not heard about this until about 2 or 3 months ago. I got an email with the first name of a guy I used to work with on YouTube, and they were like, "Hi, Rasputin, would you like us to send you a collector's edition copy of this board game?" And I'm like, "What? I'm not him. How did you get my Noclip email and the name of a guy I worked with 4 years ago connect? How did you do that? I'm not this guy." And then a month after that, they're like, "Hey, Rasputin." I'm like, "Motherfucker, I said I'm not. Do you want a key for the game?" And I was like, "No." And then they sent me a key. So now I'm playing it. How nice of the PR to send me that, totally on purpose, and ignore all of my emails.
So tell us, Rasputin. Tell us what you think.
Let me go get a paper bag and put it on my head. Yeah, before I talk
exactly.
He's great. Love you. I almost said his name. I almost doxed him. I'm not gonna do
nice.
It. Whew, good save.
You and your wife in one show, huh?
Yeah, I'm just throwing out all these legal names, man. Catch me, government.
And Frank's address.
Jeremy, you want to take the lead on explaining what this is? How much of it have you played?
I have played probably about half as much as you. I played like the first few hours of it.
Okay. All right.
So I'll explain sort of the top level, and then you can give me your impressions, because I feel like you'll have more to say. But I definitely have a lot of thoughts even on the early stages of it. So this is a first-person fantasy RPG in the tradition of Elder Scrolls, but whereas Elder Scrolls is sort of like light fantasy. I don't really know what the terminology. There's like high and low fantasy. I don't know this is like grimdark fantasy as opposed to the sort of like colorful like woodland fantasy of the Elder Scrolls. It's very different tonally. But this is about a sort of post-Arthurian world where King Arthur and his fellows came and did a conquest in a land. It's sort of like a colonialism Arthurian lore. And then all these years later, we're now living in the sort of like post-golden age of Arthurian myth, where things are shitty now. King Arthur's dead. A plague is ravaging the land, and things are generally not good. There's monsters and plagues and cultists and all sorts of shit. So you wake up in a dungeon, a sort of place where they're experimenting on people who have the red plague, the red death, whatever they call it.
Red scare or something like that. Yeah.
The red scare. They're locking you up under suspicion of being a communist. And
fucking games are getting too political these days.
Yeah, we gotta ratchet it back.
Let's go back to when I was a kid and they had no politics, like
like Oblivion or Skyrim or Morrowind.
So anyway, you escape and are sort of woven into this weird plot where I don't know. It's Jesse. It's not a spoiler to talk about King Arthur, right? It's like the setup.
It's like the opening screen of the game is King Arthur.
All right, good. I just felt like it was the only big story reveal so far in my playthrough. But as you escape, you encounter the sort of like disembodied spirit of King Arthur, who is kind of like it seems like acts like a noble knight, but there's something vaguely kind of sinister about him. And
when you walk up, does he say, "It's you, the one from my dream"?
And he's voiced by Patrick Stewart. Yeah.
No, although I do directly want to compare and contrast this with Oblivion's opening, because I think
it's pretty similar.
There's a lot. The differences are so crucial.
You're in a prison. You meet Patrick Stewart.
You do. Yeah, you are in a prison and you do meet someone royal who imbues you with some sort of destiny.
I need to quickly get something off my chest, because I said at the start this had a really sort of AI generated name of the game. Do you know the developer's name?
Oh God, it's really funny. Questline?
Questline.
Yeah.
Questline. Sure.
That sounds like a company that you go to like AI generate some T4s or something.
It sounds like a YouTube channel that covers fantasy games.
That too, yeah. Bang on. Again, AI Waypoint Quest. Yeah. That would have. I bet Patrick Klepek, man, he had that name in his head. He was like, "Fuck, it's either that or Remap. What do we go with for the next one?"
That's very good. So anyway, you get King Arthur like possesses you in the sequence where you go into a surprisingly like H.R. Giger looking ass like
I
liminal
called it the
realm.
Scorniverse is what I was calling
it looked like Beksinski, like a Scorn, same kind of aesthetic, which is very surprising in a first-person fantasy game. I thought that was very cool.
Yeah.
But basically one guy is like, we have to kill King Arthur's like ghost and stop him from coming back. They're always trying to bring him back. And then King Arthur's like, no, don't trust that guy. Let's bring me back, actually.
Well, so the way that the guy tries to stop you is he stabs you because he's like, we have to kill King Arthur, so I'm going to kill you.
I thought I got a game over.
Yeah, I thought so too. I thought it was just bad at combat.
King Arthur inside of you? I guess I have to kill you now. And I was like, oh, I shouldn't have told him. And then he kills you. And then
this guy like forgot to take his schizophrenia meds, and he's like, I have to kill the King Arthur inside of you.
Yeah.
It's inside of my whole family.
It was I was a little confused. I was along for the ride, but I was a little confused by all of this happening so quickly in succession. But yeah, and then you're set out into the world to kind of go pick up the pieces of King Arthur's scattered soul that are throughout the land.
It's just fucking Harry Potter. It's just like a Horcrux.
Yeah, you're literally like, that's exactly what it is.
It is Arthurian Harry Potter. And then the interesting sort of setup, the split is that it's like, are you gonna, when you find the Horcruxes, are you gonna help Voldemort or are you gonna help the Aurors?
Right. Can you trade in the Horcruxes for better shields and weaponry? Because that's what I'd fucking do.
You sold the Horcrux to the merchant.
Now we have to go get it again.
Damn. Sold it to like the same guy in the Imperial City I've been selling all of my shit to for the past 3 months.
Yeah, for skooma.
I need that skooma money.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know, Jesse. How do you? You've played more than me, so I'm curious how you feel. But I have a lot more thoughts on it.
Yeah, this is the most like 6 out of 10 game ever. Like
cool.
You know how you say 7 out of 10 and you're like, oh, that means it's like good but flawed. This is like flawed but with good parts. It's such a strange distinction. But so people have compared Tainted Grail, the Fall of Avalon, awful, to Skyrim for pretty obvious reasons. It has that sort of feeling where when you're playing Skyrim or Oblivion or whatever, the Bethesda style open world RPG for the first time, you kind of go wherever you want and you find something and it sort of leads you on a trail for an hour or two. And then you remember what you were doing. And it's like an ADHD simulator. It's like there's 900 things going on and you never know which way you want to go. And I think it kind of nails that to an extent, like that feeling of doing that. The world, at least the beginning part, I don't know if it gets any bigger, is fairly small. It feels more like an area in Avowed.
Right.
Like not overly large, but dense in certain spots. You'll see some cool structure in the distance. You can go over there and it's like, oh, this is a side quest. Like I remember I was doing one quest and going somewhere and then I found this guy in a cage and I freed him and then that gave me a different quest. And I was like, okay, I feel like I'm playing Skyrim. But also it's like so rote and the execution's not perfect, but you can feel a lot of heart in it. Like you can feel a lot of ambition and a lot of very interesting design choices. It's all first-person combat, so I've been playing a melee character, but like there's a skill tree that you get that unlocks different abilities that augments the straight-up regular combat of the game. So you have like Skyrim-style two-hand combat that you can do. So I'm using like a shield and an axe, but you can use a spell and a knife or whatever you want, or unarmed, and you can like play that way pretty much right out of the gate and make it work with the skills and options that you have. But then like the items that you find give you a lot of different options too. Like I found a big two-handed hammer that like makes lightning spawn and people take extra damage and stuff. You could play as a necromancer, which I don't think I've ever seen in a first-person RPG, and have it work well. I tried it for a second and I was like, this is cool, but I want to use my big shield.
Are you speccing hard in different directions, or are you?
You kind of need to. The skill trees go deep. And then, when you make your character, the character creator is also very limited, which I kind of appreciated, honestly, in terms of the looks. So you make your character, and like I don't think you even pick any stats at the beginning. I'm pretty sure everything's just 1, and then when you level up, you can increase it by 1 each time. A bunch of different stats. But yeah, it's the RPG elements of it are, I think, a lot broader than I was expecting. There's a lot to do too. Like it's not just a first-person RPG where like you go from quest to quest. I mean, it is, but like the tools that are available are surprisingly broad. Like I went to the first merchant and she had for sale a bunch of items like an hourglass, so you can like scope out an area, or a sketchbook, and you can sketch what you see on the screen into the book. And then you get the drawing in your inventory.
Really?
Yeah, that seems so unnecessary. I'm sure there's like treasure map quests or something later if you want to remember where something is, but stuff like that. You can go fishing.
It's just got some kind of novel ideas in here.
Yeah,
it kind
and
of. Was it in early access or something?
It was, and launched in early access
Yeah.
in 2023. Yeah.
Okay.
I think it did the Baldur's Gate thing where it launched in Act 1 and then more content came over time. Because now it's like, they're saying 50 to 70 hours long. But yeah, the overall structure is like you get a quest and you go do the quest, and along the way, maybe you run into something funny and you do that. It distracts you for a little bit. I've found, I don't know, Jeremy, I don't know where you are on the combat. I have found the combat really, really hard. Like sometimes needlessly challenging. Maybe it's the difficulty I picked. I think I just picked the middle one. And maybe it's the class also, because the spells seem a lot more interesting than the melee combat. How are you feeling on the difficulty or the combat in general?
Yeah, it's definitely. I was getting my ass kicked once I got out into the open world. I picked a magic user because I never pick magic in any of these games. I'm always like a sword guy or an archer guy. And yeah, it's fun. I mean, the combat feels really good. It's technically like, I feel like this game is very technically impressive, and I also think it's worth saying that like a game like this of this quality that looks like this and plays like this, made by
I think it says 50 people, right?
Yeah, this is like a, I don't know, AA game, I guess. I feel like the goalpost is always moving on kind of what is like indie and AA and whatever. But this is, by all metrics, I would say a AA game. And so it's a miracle to pull off a game like this with a smaller team. I just want to say that. Like, I think this game is very impressive in a lot of ways. And yeah, I mean, it feels like a weird sort of like, you know, AA Elder Scrolls. And I mean that as a compliment. Like, it does a lot of cool, interesting things. But yeah, the combat feels good. It has like a dodge too. So I was like, I got fire spells in both of my hands. So I was like dodging around and shooting little fire bullets, and it was fun and satisfying. I did find one guy who one-shotted me at some point. So I wasn't sure if I like wandered into like a high level zone or if there was like a boss that I accidentally found. He was like a named NPC who just absolutely annihilated me. Yeah, I think it was a bounty maybe that I didn't have yet. But there's something, I feel like this, it's not quite there in some ways. It's hard to put my finger on exactly why. I think like the restraint of the world, the fact that it feels like a little smaller than like a huge Elder Scrolls world, and sort of the on railsness of the introduction. It starts you. This is where I think Oblivion is kind of the perfect counterpoint to this. Is that this game starts you in a prison exactly like Oblivion, and Oblivion, you know, is on rails in that way. You have to go through the prison. You have to do the interaction with the Uriel Septum. But the whole time it does the like, other than the opening cutscene kind of thing, it does the like Half-Life thing of you're in control, you're in first person, you're moving around, like you're watching things unfold as the player. There is a sort of long scripted, totally linear story background, like lore dump sequence in this that I thought was a very sort of, I don't know, a questionable choice at the start of a grand open RPG. Because in a game like this,
the jump map.
Yeah, there's a liminal jump map that you go through. Well, King Arthur's like talking to you. He's like, "Oh, back in the day, we did this," and you're just going through like a CS surf map. It's very odd. It was a really weird choice, especially for like this genre of game works because like the setup of this and Oblivion are both that like you're a nobody, you're in prison, and then you get out and it throws you out into the world, you know, like Tenchi. Like the fun of all of these sandbox RPGs is that you're a nobody in this big world, and then it's like, who will you be? What choices will you make? Which direction will you go? And so having it be so front loaded with like lore and narrative and, you know, like an insanely well-made cutscene, but one that was so fucking long.
Yeah. It was like a Blizzard level cutscene in terms of like quality.
I felt like it was better
really
looking than Diablo 4's cutscenes. But I just was like, I don't know if this is the right place for this. I felt like I was getting like a filet mignon. I was just trying to get my get up, you know, I was trying to get my hamburger in 3 minutes, and they're like, all right, the chef is busy for the next hour.
Like, can I try the chocolate ice cream before I have the whole double scoop? You know what I mean? And I'm eating. I went to
it might be my most hated or frustrated thing is when I play a game and it doesn't just let me play the fucking game. Like, and it happens. I recently played the Katamari reroll with my daughter last week because remember one of the somebody emailed in and suggested it, and I was like, oh, that's a really good idea. So we played a bunch of it, and there was a bunch of like tutorial levels and stuff, and I was like, this is the sequel to Damacy. Like, I know how to play fucking Katamari game. Let's go. You know what I mean? So yeah, I hear you. It's a bit weird. Shouldn't this like big budget cutscene be like a reward even for you know, playing 20 minutes of the game or 20 hours of the game?
And the cutscene doesn't even make sense. Like, it shows you something that up to that point you have no context for, and then
Right.
even after you get it doesn't explain what the hell you just saw. It's just like, here's the room, you're in it now, and King Arthur's gonna show up, and you're like, okay, what the fuck? And then you leave, and you see the guy from earlier. He's like, hey, wasn't that cool? And you're like, what cool? I don't even know what the hell
that
just
cutscene.
happened.
Wasn't that cutscene cool?
Yeah,
he
that was
diegetically-
all of our money.
Which
That
King
was great.
Arthur is just like speaks directly to the player, and he's like, yeah, I mean, the production value's insane on that shit, right?
dude, we tried
They
so
did a
hard.
great job.
Also, two other cool things I want to mention. Because you're right, like this is a very ambitious game that I think you can see where the money and effort went, and like where the talent was in random pockets. Like to save and to not to save, but like to rest or to level up or do whatever, you have to sit at a campfire. But you can spawn a campfire pretty much wherever, as long as it's a flat terrain.
It's like real campfires, you know?
True.
Spawn them wherever, man.
Video games got weird restrictions, man. No, in real life you can't do it if it's a slope. I guess yeah. It's just regular campfires. But so you have to put down a campfire or use a campfire that's somewhere, and you can interact with it to level up and whatever. But when you do that, King Arthur sits in front of you and like is like, "What's up, man? How was you been having fun?" Like you could talk to him. He'll tell you a history of the world or whatever. Like if you pass a statue, he'll be like, "Yeah, that was my wife for like 5 minutes. She was hot." Man, we used to drink so much, me and her, and I don't know, we just kind of fell off. So
he's
shit
a
like
beach
that.
bum.
Yeah, he. So that I think that was like an interesting interaction. It seemed like maybe there's other characters that can spawn in that position, and I liked the act of doing that. It kind of like felt like you were taking a second in this world, and like you sort of get to look around before you set it up. You got to find a spot. It felt more legit than just like hitting the go to camp button like in other games, which is fine. I have no issue with it, but it
Got
felt
some
more
neat,
physical.
neat sort of ideas and executions in here.
Yeah, exactly. Though the one other thing I want to mention, just real quick, there's this really funny fucking sequence, and it's like the game has so many little funny moments like this where I'm like, okay, I could see it. I can see the vision. I hope they make another one and just like focus on this stuff. There's a main quest that you do, and there's a sequence of events where you reveal this underground basement. And when you go in there, there's one guy in there who's an undead chef. And if you talk to him, he says, "Man, I really love fish and cheese." And you can be like, "That sounds disgusting. Why would you ever eat that?" He's like, "Trust me, you have to try this." He gives you the recipe to go and make the fish and cheese meal, which you can craft meals in this and eat them. And they give you different stat boosts, I think, and like give you health. But this one unlocks a spell that allows you to turn enemies into cheese.
Whoa.
I haven't found that yet.
What
That's
does that
actually
look
awesome.
like?
You hit them with a beam of energy, which your hand just like goes yellow. You hit them with a beam of energy. You got to hold it for a while. I think you have to have a certain amount of magic or it takes really long. And they just burst into a pile of cheese pickups on the ground.
Oh my God.
It's really fucking funny.
wow. I'm back
That's
in.
actually amazing.
Right?
Yeah,
when I
yeah,
saw
me
that,
too.
I was like, hold on. This game might be based? Like, I need to
I
play
wonder if-
more of this.
I wonder if there's a bunch of really cool shit that like the early access people found or they added in or
Probably, yeah.
interesting. Yeah, I hear what you guys are saying. I think looking at the videos and screenshots, it looks really good. I don't know if it does it look good when you're playing it.
It looks
I like the
kind
art.
of-
I like the art direction a lot. I like the what did you call it? Grim fantasy or
Oh,
something?
grimdark, which is a word that I
Grimdark.
learned from the crew that made Loop Hero. I had never heard that term
Yes.
before.
Oh, yeah.
Like dark Eastern European fantasy where there's like skeletons instead of elves or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, the visuals, it's not technically overly impressive. Like, I still think Avowed looks miles better, but of course it does. It has a way bigger team, right? But they've done a lot of good work here. I think the lighting looks great. They've done a lot with the resources that they had. There was like a sunset that happened. It might have just been a time of day thing when I was leaving the prologue area, and like the whole sky went red. The volumetric looked really good. I was like, oh, the tech director on this is like probably, so proud of themselves for this hard work, or at least they should be, because it looked really good. And yeah, overall they do a good job, but there's a lot of seams in the world that are very noticeable. Like, again, it's so big and so dense, but there's only so many people, right? So it's that weight of like, I could see the issues, but also, wow, I can't believe it looks as good as it does for the amount of effort that they were put in. So
I saw in the trailer there's a shot of the character in first person using this sketchbook to like draw like they're automatically drawing a statue that they see. So that seems maybe it's like a press here to do the thing. Interesting stuff. Any final thoughts on it, Jeremy? You gonna play some more?
Yeah, I'll definitely play some more. I think it's like I really, really like the idea of the inversion of Arthurian lore as like the Arthurian kingdom and Camelot. They spell Camelot with a K too. I don't know if that's a historical.
Fucking Ed Boon
thing or-
make this game.
But just like when you go to meet King Arthur's ghost, you step into like an H.R. Giger alien tomb, and I was like, okay, all right, like that. I've not seen some shit like that before. And I think that if it continues to deliver on that kind of like subversive introduction of sort of like hybrid fantasy, then I would be interested. I've played so many games where it's just like you shoot the elf with an arrow and you shoot the goblin with an arrow and you get the grail and it's over.
Yeah.
You know,
I fucking love those games. You're right.
I do like those games, but it is refreshing to have something a little different.
Yeah. Tainted Grail, The Fall of Avalon by Questline, available now on PC, PlayStation 5, and the various Xbox I. There's also a demo available on Steam if you want to check it out over there. And it's a $45 game, so under sort of full price if we're calling that something. There's also a supporters pack, which has some extra bits and bobs in it if you want to support the team. Over at Questline. Fair play to them for that. To a T. It's out, I think, in 2 days. I think it's out tomorrow, maybe. This is the latest game from Keita Takahashi and et al. This is
Uvula.
What did you say? Uvula. Yes, Uvula LLC. Made this game. It's published by Annapurna. Keita Takahashi, of course, known for games like Katamari Damacy, Watam, Nobi Boy as well, another personal favorite. He was working over at Phenomena for a good while. Obviously, that studio has had a rough time of it in the past couple of years with the allegations against Robin Hunicke and a bunch of people left, yada, yada, yada. Keita is, I believe, still living in the Bay Area working on this thing, and it's a Keita Takahashi game. I'm just gonna open this one up. What are you guys interested in when it comes to what To a T is all about?
I'm curious, like what the actual gameplay is. Is it like a narrative adventure game? Is there like you're not rolling up and collecting stuff? I don't know, but yeah, what is the actual gameplay of it?
So I will start this by saying the story itself is kind of the drive of this and the spoiler. So I'm going to keep the story stuff to a minimum, although
To a T.
To a T, exactly. The basic idea of this game is that you play a character. You can name this character. The default name is Teen, which I like. The character is a small child. It can be a boy or girl or whatever. There is no, I guess, direct place where you put that in. You can just dress them however you want and give them whatever hairstyle. Who just turned 13. And the thing about this person is that they are T-posing. They have their hands out to the sides at all time. They were born that way. That is the way they are. They cannot bend their arms. Their hands stick out. And you are controlling this child as they go about their life. And as you can imagine, they're really weird life because they can't bend their fucking arms and everyone else in the world can and goes, yo, what's up with you? And bully them at school and whatnot. What you are doing, the game is basically split up into days. Each episode is kind of like a day that happened over a short period of time. And it's very much like this is the way in which children see the world. Like this is the way the game plays out in a very, it's very nostalgic for childhood. And I'm remembering things about being a child playing this game that I hadn't thought about in a very long time. What you were doing is essentially there are sort of, how do I put this? So this is way more structured than I was thinking it would be and way more narrative focused than I was thinking it would be. Because the Katamari games, they have distinct levels, right? Most of them are under time constraints, 3 minutes to get your Katamari to a certain size or pick up a certain amount of objects. And it's very much a play the level, get a score, move on to the next level. Nobi Boy was obviously like way more esoteric and weird and didn't have any like actual quests to do. And the purpose of it was playing, not some sort of goal that you could reach. Watam was strange because Watam had like things you were meant to do, but it didn't really have distinct levels. Like it just kind of like things happened, and then you did the thing, and then the toilet turned up, and then you did that thing, and then a fucking another weird object turned up, and it just kept going. This game feels much more linear in lots of places. So like you get up in the morning, you have to put your clothes on, which just involves like picking what clothes you want. We talked about it last week with the demo. Jesse was talking about you have to brush your teeth, and then it's like you're using the left trigger and the right trigger to brush your teeth, and then you're filling up your milk bowl and doing your thing. So there's some degree of the game is these sort of small instances of you basically trying to navigate the world with your arms stuck out really wide. Then there is a sort of the overworld. There's a town. So when you leave in the morning, like for instance, maybe you have to go to school. If you want, you can just like explore the town and collect some coins that are sort of like scattered around the world. You can explore the world. There are like things like little sightseeing areas you can go to and put some money in, and you look inside the glasses and all that sort of stuff. There are people you can check in on, and the more you play the game, the more this stuff sort of unlocks. But the golden path is most of the game, and you go to school, and then you have to find your classroom, and you have to put on your shoes, your indoor shoes, because you're at school now. So it's a lot of like, what's the word I'm thinking of? Jeremy, you'll probably have me with this one. Like doing things the same thing every day, like ritual. It's a lot of ritual. It's a lot of like cultural ritual. Waking up in the morning, like the second day, for instance, you wake up, your mom is like, I forgot to mention you're 13 now, so like I'm not going to tell you to brush your teeth or wash your face in the morning. You can decide to do that if you want, because you're an adult. And like teen is like, yes, this is what being an adult is like. So then if you don't have to do that if you don't want to. And it's just about like the game is like really beautiful. Like I've really enjoyed playing it. It is very nostalgic for childhood. It's all about the problems children have with like acceptance and who they are and trying to figure out and like what they want and who the small people in their communities that make a massive difference to their day to day, and that like trying to figure out their body is obviously a big part of this, because teen is able to there's an element of them being a T-posing person that sort of, it's a bit of a rite of passage here where they realize some things that they can do that other people can't and stuff like that. So it's about their body changing, and it's purely in that world of very young teenager. Everything in the world is changing. My perspective is changing, and it's really beautiful. It's funny. It's cute. It's unbelievably charming. You have this little doggy that walks around with you all the time. You can put a top hat on that motherfucker, little bowler hat. He acts as
Did you name the dog dog? You didn't.
You can name the dog whatever you want. They give you the option to do that as well. I think mine is called Dog. He also acts as they act as your sort of waypoint guide to like bring you around. And yeah, and then it has these, the one thing that's really strange is that every day is almost like set up, or every chapter, I guess, is almost set up like its own like episode of a television show, because they play that intro they played, that crazy song at the start of the demo. They play that every episode.
Oh, fun.
And then at the end of an episode, or maybe it's in the middle, there's a song that the giraffe sings that also gets played every episode. So it's kind of weird, kind of like the framework of it's a Keita Takahashi game as well. Okay, yeah, we're still, and the song's great to listen to, but it is a bit odd that I've heard it like 6 or 7 times now at this stage.
So they have a lot of those explicit moments still where like in the beginning of the demo, there was those, like you were talking about, like eating the cereal and everything. Does that still come up a bunch, or does it lean more on that like specific camera angle, kick the can down the road sort of stuff that they started doing when the overworld was introduced?
Yeah, the overworld's funny because it's like, it's an open world map, but the camera angles are locked, not like Resident Evil style, but they're locked to the player. So like if you're running left to right, it's almost like Mario style, or not Mario, because Mario, it does follow. Yeah. Kind of like that. So you're walking around the town almost like a 2D plane, like the camera is on a car driving alongside you. So if you turn up a road, sometimes it turns with you. So it's kind of odd. It's not, basically you're not in control of the camera. Like, it's a long way of saying it. It's not a dual stick game, which I think actually probably helps if you're a kid playing this game a lot, because I know my daughter definitely struggles with that. So that still happens. But those sort of little moments, these, I don't know what you call them, they're just like moments in the game, where you have to like use your right stick and right bumper or whatever to do something, open a door, brush your teeth, whatever. Those happen a lot. So like, you're in school and you're, at gymnastics class doing rhythm games to, to finish the lesson, or you're doing a science experiment and you're trying to drip like one pipette into another or whatever, like, and how tricky it is. But they're all very short-lived. They don't say they're welcome. There is no win or lose condition. You can spend money on things, but you find the currency everywhere. It's like hidden in every bush. It's on every path. It's the one sort of very video gamey thing that happens. The story though kind of goes a bit nuts. Like, as you can imagine, it starts off quite grounded and then kind of has a lot of fun with itself. I've been playing on the preview build, so they've been updating it. So upon release, hopefully some of this stuff is ironed out. I've had a couple of bugs where I've had to like reset the day because I couldn't, something didn't trigger. It's happened like a few times now, and it seemed to always happen whenever I explored the world before going to the main quest, which sort of made me not want to explore the world a bit because I was worried I'd break the level and lose all the progress I just did collecting coins and stuff. So hopefully they fix that stuff. And also the press release or the embargo sheet that I got said that it had not been optimized for Steam Deck yet. And I think that's fair. I played a chunk of it on Steam Deck as well. I'm not sure if Cloud Saves were working. And again, this might be some pre-release review stuff. So just check the Steam page when you get it. But I ended up playing a bunch of the game as well on Steam Deck, and performance wasn't amazing, but it was totally fine and playable. So hopefully they fix that stuff before release.
All right.
Seems cool.
Yeah.
I'm excited for this one. I love Keita Takahashi. I also, this kind of fits into what we were talking about around Despelote, that they're just like, I want more games that are just like little slice of life. Like, this is a particularly weird
totally.
one. This is not grounded like Despelote. I don't think Keita Takahashi grew up in a T-pose, although that'd be really interesting. It would explain a lot about his game design philosophy. But yeah, no, I'm excited to just like have a little experience. I just want like video game equivalents to like Kiki's Delivery Service, but I don't even need like the magic witch angle. I just want to like live above a bread shop.
Yeah, this has that vibe of like cool little town. Your sandwich friend, your giraffe friend makes you a sandwich every day. The crazy things that are happening in town are all connected to you. You feel like very central to the world, which is very much a child's life, is they are at the center of the universe, of their own universe, before they grow out of that. And yeah, it's very Despelote actually. I hadn't thought about that, but it is very similar in that it's very much just like stepping in the feet of a child. And I think that there's been a lot of sweet moments in this. I haven't completed it yet. I think it's only like 5 or 6 hours long in total. So I'm probably close to getting to the end now. But if you look Keita Takahashi games, I think this is like exactly what I needed from his games. Is something with a bit more structure, a bit more of a I don't know. There's something about, like, I love the Katamari games are incredible, and there's something about like the cousins and like that there's this world here, you know what I mean, that feels like a broader world. You believe it in some way. Like, there's history with the king of all cosmos, and all the weird shit in the second game with his dad being a bad dad and all this sort of stuff. And Watsam and Nabi Boy sort of missed that. Like, they felt very ethereal and like sort of not really grounded in any way. And I think what I love about this is that it is by far the most grounded of all the games. Like, this feels like a child with a parent and a support system, and it feels more believable and human in lots of ways. But that playfulness and that zaniness is still here, and it's just cool. Like, you press X when you're walking down the street, and Teen is just like saying like, I can't wait for the summer to come, and I don't want to go to school today, and it's like, it's so honest. Like, this kid doesn't want to go to school, and is so self-conscious about themselves, and their biggest decision they make every day is what they're going to wear. You know what I mean? It's like it's exactly like my kid when she wakes up in the morning. Like, it's so on point. So yeah, I really think it's very sweet and cool. I'm excited to complete it, and yeah, I think if you like Keita Takahashi games at all, you should definitely do this, and shout out to everyone else. I don't want to, I'm not a fan of giving all the props to one person. Obviously, this is very much sort of, I don't believe in auteur culture, as it were, but I think it's like there is no genre for these games, and the way in which they are collectively similar is because of this person who has been sort of directing them. So I get it. But shout out to everyone at Uvula for pulling this one out. It's going to be on. I played on PC, like I said. It's on PlayStation 5 and Xbox. And ding, 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 ding. Frank Howley, you got yourself a Game Pass game. It's coming out day one Game Pass. So check it out over that if you're interested. And that was to a T. Next game we have here is Frank Howley's remaster of one of your sicko games. Tell us about Onimusha 2 and how much you've enjoyed its remaster or not.
Yeah, Onimusha 2 Samurai's Destiny is out. It's crazy. Capcom just put out another remaster collection like a week ago, and now here's another one. It's Onimusha 2.
Cashing in.
I don't know. Like, they announced in 2026 there's going to be a new Onimusha. I think it's called like Onimusha, not Way of the Water. That's the Avatar. Onimusha.
It's going to be 3 hours long.
Onimusha, Way of the
It's
Sword.
Onimusha, the Fall of Avalon, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Onimusha, Way of the Sword. So I don't know if they're going to also remaster 3 and then Dawn of Dreams, which is like the 4th one. But in 2019, they remastered Onimusha, the original, which I just beat like 2 weeks ago in preparation for this. And now playing Onimusha 2. And yeah, it's great. They've like, I don't know, polished it, and now it's, you know, you got Japanese language settings, 16:9. It's you can use the goofy costumes from the start, but you know all these little extra features are padded in there. And the game looks really, really good. I didn't play Onimusha 2 back in the day. I played 1 and 3, but if the visual leap from like Onimusha 1 remaster to this is like pretty incredible. The pre-rendered backgrounds look amazing. The game itself, Onimusha, it kind of exists between Resident Evil and Devil May Cry, where it's like way more action focused than like the old school Resident Evils. You don't have to be you have a sword. You're not going to run out of bullets, so you don't have to worry about like resource management as much. But it's not like New Metal's not blasting and you're not juggling enemies in the air. But it's pretty solid like adventuring hack and slash. There's a lot of characters in this one compared to Onimusha 1. Onimusha 1 is good, but it's also a pretty short game, whereas it feels like this one has a lot more meat in it and already a lot more locations. So yeah, it's I don't know, it's easygoing and great. And yeah, you're a samurai killing demons and Oni and yokai and all the fun stuff on your quest to defeat Lord Oda Nobunaga as him and his demons take over Japan, fuel Japan, the samurai era. You have a mechanical horse, you have fire arrows. It's lots of goofy samurai anime stuff, and I like it a lot. So yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Was this a PlayStation 2,
Yeah.
Xbox One?
PS2. Onimusha 1 was the weird one where it came out on PS1, and then they did like Genma Onimusha, like a super version of Xbox, whereas I think 2 was just on PS2, and then they did the number 3 with Jean Reno, and you time travel to Paris.
Oh God, I forgot
I
about
love
Jean
that one.
Reno's one. Yeah.
Yeah,
that game
one's
is great.
That one's nuts.
I've played 1 and 3 as well. I wonder why we both skipped 2.
I don't know. I think 3, the fact that Jean Reno was in it was so weird. I think that's what it was. Like Onimusha compared to like Devil May Cry isn't spectacular. It's good, especially like as opposed to like I don't know, back in the day PS2 paying 50 or 60. This is like, I think this remaster is 25, which is like a perfect price point for it. Let me double check.
I was about to say, did this come out when was the PlayStation 2 released?
PS2 is so the PS2 version was 2002.
Yeah, so I think this was a launch game. So I bet that's why you didn't play it, because it was like, who the fuck had enough money to buy a PlayStation 2 at launch?
So like Onimusha 1 was pretty close to the launch. I think that was Onimusha 1. Let me
Oh
see
no,
now.
2000. PlayStation 2
Yeah.
came out in 2000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Okay, so it was 2000. It was 2 years later. Sorry.
Yeah. And the Onimusha Warlords was, I think the reason why Onimusha 1 was so accessible was it was one of the greatest, it was a greatest hits game early on. Remember I don't know if in America it was a red label
They were
greatest
called
hits game.
platinum games
Platinum.
in the UK and Ireland. The platinum collection. And they had a
That must have been
platinum.
confusing.
Yeah, they weren't around then, I guess.
Yeah.
they had a platinum because our boxes were the thick ones, so
Oh,
the
yeah.
side was. You guys had them green. We had platinum, silver looking.
So yeah, so Onimusha I think became quickly accessible, so everyone played it. 2 never hit the platinum or greatest hit status, and then 3 had Jean Reno, so you couldn't skip that. But yeah, this is good. It's cool. It's I don't have anything profound to say other than like I was always hesitant, like especially like as a kid or like I don't know, I think I was 10 years old when Onimusha 1 came out. I was afraid to play these because I thought like Resident
too.
Evil was so hard to get through. I'd use like strategy guides. These games are way easier. Like especially now, like I know, 34 being able to play Onimusha is like, oh, this is so easy. This is oh my god. I'll still get lost and have to look up game facts from 2002. It's I don't know. It's just a good time. I like this too because it's such an old school game in the sense of just like, yeah, you're just cutting up zombies. You're talking to. It even has kind of the same tone as like Yakuza or even like the villains you fight. I just started watching. I've been watching like Sentai shows, like original Power Rangers type stuff, and all the enemies are so like goofy and silly and very much like in that Japanese folklore setting, and like they're tempted. Like I don't know. It's just a silly game. So I like its energy.
I think it's cool that they stayed true to that aspect of it, like stay true to the tone and the design of it and everything. Because Capcom, Resident Evil is their biggest franchise, so of course they pump more money into making Resident Evil 2 more modern. But here they could have made Onimusha 1 and 2 different and like change stuff, but no, they stuck with that aspect of it. Have you seen anything of Way of the Water?
They put out like a gameplay thing, and I'm curious if that's going to be more like Neo, which is very much like more Souls-like.
Okay.
There's a big like gameplay trailer of it, but yeah, nothing else is for sure yet. But yeah, now I got to know if they're going to remaster Jean Renault's version though. Are they going to
They're going to have to do a new scan of his face. They're going to have to scan Godzilla 2001 or whatever movie he was in.
Yeah,
Leon
the Professional, bring him back.
The funny thing too is I think with both these games, Onimusha 1 and 2, is they scan like a real actor, like back in the day, like, and so and I don't know what the actor's up to these days. Oh my
There he
god!
is.
Oh, there he is.
Ronan?
I got Jean Reno right here, baby. Of course, I got my 4K
Oh
copy
my
of
God.
Ronin.
Oh,
hell yeah.
We were this is our Shift F1 bonus pod this month, so
Is Ronan?
yeah, we ran out of car movies. Any movie that's got a good car chase in it,
Any
basically
movie that has a
counts now.
car at some point. I'm walking here.
There's a
We're
pretty
doing
good
that.
car chase, and it was up against what was it? Bullet, Ronin, The Rock, and something else. Were the choices this?
You guys
this
going to cover F1?
the new movie?
Yeah.
I'm excited.
I think that
to
looks
see.
good. I had no interest, and then I went and watched the terrible Mission Impossible movie, and I saw the trailer for that, and I was like, I can't wait to listen to the Shift
Well,
F1
have you seen
episode.
Have you seen Top Gun Maverick?
Yeah, he was the director of that one.
Yeah,
right?
so it's like I expect something similar. Narratively, nothing to write home about, but just crazy that they filmed it. Because like the coolest thing about Top Gun is that they managed to get all these cameras on the jets, and the coolest thing about F1 seems to be that they managed to get all the
put
cameras on
Brad
these
Pitt
cars.
in the fucking
And they were filming it like all the past 2 seasons, so like all the other drivers are the other drivers.
Oh,
Like,
that's cool.
Which is kind of like there's a history of this with like movies like Grand Prix, which was this. Wait, I'm trying. Is that this? Was that Frankenheimer's one? I think it was. Yeah. So same director as Ronan, actually. Hilariously.
well, there you go.
It was his first movie, I think, or one of his first. There's a history of like
Did they do that in Ford v Ferrari as well?
No, because that was all classic stuff, so there was no
Oh, right,
contemporary racing in it at all. But it was shot well. That was a fun one. You got to hear Christian Bale with a weird Cockney accent or something.
Anyway, sorry. Onimusha, yeah. Why is it always Nobunaga? What did he do? Was he a bitch in history? Why do they keep
No, he's
making
the
him a
most
bad guy?
famous like Japanese emperor. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like even all the Dynasty Warriors games, there's Samurai Warriors you can play as them. I don't know.
He's the bad guy in Assassin's Creed Shadows. He's just a
Really? Oh, yeah.
easy name.
There you go. Onimusha 2, Samurai's Destiny, available now on Stuff. What did you play it on? PC?
PS5, but yeah, it's on.
Okay.
Oh wait, no. Let me double check if they're doing this again because Capcom Collection was like a PS4 game, like a PS4.
Oh, yeah.
So
Oh,
I think
yeah,
I
back
think
in
this
the-
is the same thing where it's like. Let me double check.
Yeah,
It's Switch, PS4, Xbox One, and Steam. So
You can get it on PS5, but you're
Yeah,
just not going to get a 5K menu screen or whatever
Yeah.
they would do over there. That's all the games this week. We have it's a bit quiet at the moment. We're sort of in the calm before the Summer Games Fest at the moment. There are some stuff coming out over the next couple of weeks. I think the end of this week. It's out. Elden Ring Night Rain is going to be out. The Formula One video game is also out later this week as well. F1
Whoa.
2025.
Quick look.
I haven't got
Hey,
cover
quick
yet.
look
so I'll
with
have to-
Rob. I mean, I'm not trying to pitch anything to you here, but
Oh,
that'd be fun.
That's true. Get Zack Attack on
Yeah.
here. What else is coming out? I guess the Switch 2 is the other one. Like Switch 2 hits June
cares?
5th. On the Switch, you can play fucking Street Fighter 6 on the go now.
Woo!
Finally, on a Nintendo console, and then it's pretty quiet. I think Dune Awakening is out June 10th, so that's right around Summer Games time.
Mind's Eye is also out June 10th.
Is it?
Can't wait.
Play it. I don't know anything about Mind's Eye.
I can't believe this is coming out so soon. I remember seeing the trailer for it months ago and it looked great. Like, I
Yeah.
thought this is a game that's like 2026. Like, I can't believe
Yeah.
that. What the hell?
I thought this was going to be like Star Citizen, like we were going to hear about it for like 20 years before it came out. So I don't know.
Well, based on the trailer they put out today.
Is there a trailer out today?
Yeah, it dropped today. Some of the
they?
people in the Discord were talking about it. It looks
haven't
bad. Sorry. It does though. I'm not gonna lie.
I got to check. I'm going to do a live. Oh God, it's a 6 minute. There's a 6 minute gameplay.
It's like one of
overview
those
this thing.
Rockstar ones where they're like, you can press a lot of buttons and have a unique experience where your gameplay becomes you.
Jesus, it's a huge big city. Look at this. He's driving through.
You should have done the trailer.
I should watch it. We should do a show where we watch trailers and react to them.
I love
would
that
love
idea.
that.
We could call it.
We'll call it the Shill Zone.
We call it the show zone. Pay to have your. This is okay. This is fuck. This is entirely not. I guess I knew nothing about what this game was because it looks like a sort of somewhere between GTA and Cyberpunk in terms of like era and gameplay. You know what I mean? Like it's all right. Okay.
And iRobot as well. I feel like there's a little dash
Yes.
of iRobot as the trailer goes on.
A lot of robot. You watched the whole thing as well. Holy shit.
I'm skimming.
Created
all you need
in
to do.
Build's Eye. Oh, this is like the user generated content stuff. Okay, I know nothing about this. The studio is called Build a Rocket Boy, which is a great Elbow album, which was a weird. I don't know why that, but Les Benzies, man, get me the Benz. The guy responsible for finishing off all those GTA games. Excuse me. Yeah, I'm interested. I don't know anything about this game. You play as Jacob Diaz.
Yep.
Played by
that's it.
Alexander Hernandez.
Yeah, finally
He's in
back
Mafia
from
3.
back from the Mafia 3 mines. When are they going to let him be in an open world game that doesn't look bad? When are they going to let him do that?
It's published by IO Interactive as well.
Which is so strange.
I think Frank said earlier, he said something about Mindjacked. So I just like to think that Mind's Eye is the sequel to Mindjacked. I think that would be.
There's also a game like early Dreamcast PS2. I think it was called Manhunter or something. There was a PS2 game.
Mindhunter? No.
Not Manhunt. It's a game. Oh my God. You're on a bike and you're running
What?
around. Dreamcast, PS2 game, Hunter, Sega. I'm not Headhunter.
Spy Hunter?
Headhunter.
Oh, this.
That game was awesome. It looks like Mind's Eye looks like Headhunter. It's a game.
Oh, God. Look at the fucking box art
Holy
for
shit.
It's a
Headhunter.
legit. It's a cool game.
Wow.
It's cool. That's what Mind's Eye looks like.
Developed
The,
by Amuse.
The
So
cover.
developed by We Saw the Matrix.
I was gonna say the cover looks like someone 3D modeled a Adam Jensen cosplayer.
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah, that's real. It's Adam Jensen if he was in Resident Evil or something.
Yes. Oh my God. Yes. That's 100% what I was thinking. Oh.
Wow. But made by Amuse. Headhunter is a 2001 action adventure game.
200.
I know, yeah. 201.
They don't
It's
make them
also-
like they used to.
A sequel called Headhunter Redemption was released on PlayStation 2.
Redhead Redemption,
See, I didn't know there was a sequel.
as it was
missed out.
known.
Wow.
Wow, these are the
future
only
Los
games they made.
Angeles.
Also, were Headhunter. They never made anything
I
else.
really
before or
liked it.
after.
I didn't know there was a.
It got
I didn't-
9 out of 10 on
it's a
Eurogamer.
cool game. It's a cool.
Wait,
game.
the
GameSpot
bloody
give it?
the T virus equivalent in this game is the Bloody Mary virus, which is
No
very funny.
shot.
We should do
Yeah.
some retro quick
Do some
looks.
bad
I think,
retro
I think
quick
looks. It's a cool
Headhunter
game.
is the where it all starts.
It was developed in Sweden, apparently. So
There you go.
There you go. Whoa. Oh, no, sorry. It was influenced by Paul Verhoeven. For a second, I thought Paul Verhoeven was attached to it, and I was about to lose my goddamn mind.
He's tried to distance himself over the years from it.
Yeah. Mind's Eye. Yes, that's apparently coming out as well. So is The Alters. I'm excited for that.
That looks really good. Yeah. 11-bit.
Yeah, we'll have some fun shit like that for you on a Noclip crew for now. Over the next couple of weeks. Myself and Frank will also be at Summer Games Fest. So by the time you listen to next week's episode, we'll be there on location, getting silly with it, Big Willie style. Do we have any emails this week, Frank?
Yeah, we had one email, and if people do want to write to us, you can send an email to podcast@noclip.video or in our Patreon Discord in the podcast channel. We got one from Simon about Austria. Hello, Noclip crew. I'm from Austria, and after last week's discussion about the Eurovision Song Contest ended with Danny saying, "Does anyone give a shit about Austria?" I felt compelled to represent my country and tell you why you might care about it. Like a bunch of other smaller countries, we've got a small but dedicated game dev scene with a couple of studios and many individuals doing fantastic work. There's Mapumi Games, who are doing regular technical support work on big AAA titles like the recent Indiana Jones game and the last couple Remedy titles, but have also published some wonderful games of their own like The Lion's Song. When we're talking about indies, there's Broken Rules, a studio that had their biggest hit with a lovely, relaxing puzzle game, Old Man's Journey. And even though he's not from Austria, the guy who made Mosalina currently resides here and is active in the local scene.
Oh, cool.
On the modding side of things, last year, one of the biggest Portal 2 mods, Portal Revolution, got released, which was spearheaded by a 21-year-old guy from here. And last but not least, Moon Studios, the developers behind the Ori series, are based in Vienna and were co-founded by someone from Austria as well. Love listening to you guys every week. It would be awesome if one day you guys came out to visit us in little old Austria, which hopefully you now give more of a shit about.
You were doing so good until the end there, buddy.
Yeah. Fell at the last hurdle there. Hey, look, shout out to Moon Studios. Shout out to the studios.
All of the developers.
Exactly.
Very
doing
talented.
all the great work at Moon Studios. But yes, the fact that they did not name Thomas Mahler by name is maybe very telling. Thomas, stay off Twitter for fuck's sake.
Yeah, Mahler.
Yeah, I think. You can look up the news if you want to read more. I'm not sure. If
I like that came up, and all of us on our cameras are like,
we started grimacing. Yeah, on YouTube, it's just like, ooh, shit.
It's all right. The Ori games are great, and that new one was fun.
I haven't played. What's it called again?
No Rest for the Wicked. Unrelated to the song. They never use the song in any of the. What are they doing?
What's
Cage
the
Elephant.
I don't know.
They used it for Borderlands. Ain't no rest for the wicked.
Oh, that thing.
Who's that song by? I only know it from commercials.
Yeah. Exactly. It's Super Bowl.
It is a very corporate ass song, like a commercial song. It's cool that there's so many developers in Austria. I feel like every time I look up any city or province or country, I'm like, oh, every cool person who's made a video game is like, I went to Amsterdam and I was like, oh shit. Gorilla, right, is right there. I was like, they're downtown. Like, it's awesome.
Austria is pretty small, though. I think it's similar to Ireland in that respect, but I think Austria is like almost 10 million people, maybe. But it is. I suspect a lot of them get pulled out into other.
Oh yeah, for sure.
My understanding is that it is one of the more expensive places to operate a business within that region, so they probably go
right. If you're in the EU, just go to Germany or wherever,
somewhere else, or out east. But yeah, Broken Rules. I'm a big fan of Broken Rules.
What else did they make? Old Man's Journey, and then
and Yet It Moves was a game that I really liked when they first.
That was good.
I hung out with Felix Borhatch, I think his name is, the creative director over there. I think he still is. But they were a cool group because I always wanted to go visit them because they are like a collective that like they live out in the fucking beautiful woods and just I don't know, midsummer it up or whatever. They just have a good time. So they always seemed like a cool bunch of sort of hippie-ish game devy people. That's kind of what Austrians are like. They're like super educated hippie people is what my vibe of middle class Austrians is. They're like they live in the fucking woods, man, and they go cycling and they have a drink and talk about politics and shit and make weird games, 2D fucking games where your main character's cut up piece of paper. What was the game that they made another one after Old Man's Journey? I'm trying to remember.
Secrets of Radican?
No, that was before it.
That was before.
And there was another one. I forgot it.
They got Gibbon Beyond the Trees.
That was it. Yeah, that's the more.
Your little
modern,
Gibbon?
Yeah. But yeah, and then Moons. Yeah, sorry, you were saying about I haven't played No Rest for the Wicked, so that came out last year, I want to say. And then just to get over the news briefly, there was an update to the game that people were annoyed about because it nerfed a bunch of the characters.
They took out the woke.
And then, and then the creative director went on Twitter and fucking complained that it was because he didn't have 5 trans characters or something. And it was like, no, people just didn't like the fucking update. You don't have to make everything be anti-woke. He's still complaining that he didn't come out and say that Russia's invasion of Ukraine, the fucking softest lob in European geopolitical fucking history, unless you're a fascist, was like too much to say. Like it's so. he so clearly comes across as a guy who has beliefs that are shit, but is too much of a coward to just fucking say them. He's just
asking questions.
All he does is complain about people, being too politically correct. Where it's like, put your fucking cards on the table, man. If that's the way it is, you know what I mean? Or don't. For the good of your studio, shut the fuck up and let them make cool games and don't get involved in all this fucking. No, I don't know.
I think we talk about this a lot, man. You got all this money and all this power and so much talent. You can just make great video games. Why are you online?
Money doesn't fix fragile egos, man.
No,
it's just like, if anything,
sucks.
it makes it worse because suddenly people think that they should be listened to even more.
Yeah. I mean, if I'm good at making video games, I must be good at geopolitics. I must be good at sociology. I made a video game one time.
It's anyway, he's you can go out there and read all about that yourself, but the game seems to be well received. People seem to digging it apart from that patch. I guess I think they addressed a lot of the patch stuff as well. The actual development team did.
It looks gorgeous also.
Yeah, no rest for the wicked. I haven't given it a go. The Ori games never clicked with me. I thought they were beautiful. They're really good, but I think I'm just not a big 2D Metroidvania person. Like a lot of those games don't.
It is one of the better ones, but I get it.
Blasphemous did though. Maybe I don't know why. Was it the combat?
It's the Catholic part.
It's the Catholic Guild.
It's the Catholic
Is that what
Guild.
it was?
That's what it was.
The Catholic Guild did it. Shit. But yeah, there you go. Some
you should insult more countries so people send us in nice emails explaining all the cool developers.
Yeah, exactly. Who should we go for next? Let's throw it out there.
Oh man, I hate those people who live in or around Toronto, bastards.
Are you just trying to get Toronto?
No.
He's fishing. He's fishing for people. All right, let me go on the limb. Hey, Boston, if you're a Boston-based game developer, hit me up because I hate you. I'm just kidding. I just want to know who's in Boston.
Storied video game center, Boston.
It's throwing tea in a river and making video games. Everyone's
System Shock and Rock Band, baby.
I
Let's
know,
go.
Yeah.
dude. It fucking used to be
Cyberpunk
happening
now, right?
here, and there is a Boston indie scene that I am trying to get plugged into and trying to figure out who's.
There's a lot of
Tell us
cool
about that. Yeah,
indie devs in Boston. Yeah,
internet. Tell us about the Boston indie scene. I'm gonna throw a random marker into Europe. Let's say fucking Latvia. What's going on? What's going on in Riga? You know, I've been to Estonia. Fucking, they got Disco Elysium. Fucking, what you got? It's your turn. That's a tough one to beat.
That's a really hard challenge.
What you got, Latvia?
That's a heavy
Tell us.
gauntlet to throw down.
You know what? I'll open it up to everyone in the singing revolution. If you're from Lithuania as well, you know, you can jump into Latvia and Lithuania. I'm throwing it down. Okay, you tell those Scandinavians where it's at. Fucking all right. That's it. See if our European listenership slowly dwindles.
Yeah.
We're doing game dev Eurovision actually.
Oh my
Yes.
God, we should.
That's a great idea. Yeah.
We should do that.
It's so hard to. I've talked to other indie devs about this, about how like transposing game dev as a creative process into like content is so different from other things, because with music you can point a camera at someone making music and be like, oh yeah, like that was a cool riff. What if it went like and even if you know nothing about music, you're like, oh yeah, that would be cool, and then you hear it immediately. It's like, it's such a visceral feedback loop. But game dev is like,
Yeah, how do you contentify somebody hitting like, oh, where's the semicolon missing? God,
that sounded like the old lobby music.
yeah, I actually wrote that song. That's one of my deep cuts. But anyway, yeah, game dev it's harder to, like, if you had a game show where it's like, and like if you did a show, like a reality television show about a game jam, it would be a lot of like, yeah, I mean, they've done stuff like that before, but it's a hard thing to transpose into that format, because a lot of it is just like,
right.
And then the crew sat down for 10 hours in silence, looking for missing semicolons.
I just love the idea that Scotland wins the Eurovision Song Game Contest every time because of Grand Theft Auto. They're just like fucking destroying it. They're like the ABBA of the video game.
So unfair.
Yeah. Who else we got? Poland, Cyberpunk, or Witcher? Probably. Where would you go?
France, Arcane, right?
Yeah. Dishonor going there or something.
Is it Sweden for machine games?
Yes.
Or is there another one you pick for Sweden?
DICE is there as well. So all the
DICE,
Battlefield stuff. It just depends on the year.
True.
You know what I mean? I don't know what about Hitman IO Interactive for Denmark.
Yep.
I don't know about Wales.
Any Welsh games?
England's a tough one. Nino Cooney is the only game that comes to mind for Wales because it had that Welsh guy in it.
Oh.
We're gonna have fucking Wales emailing in now.
Yeah.
some Cardiff-fast games that I don't know about.
What do they call a microwave in Wales? A popty ping? Is that?
A what?
Was that a bit? I feel like, I don't know if my buddy was pranking me. He's from
What do they call a
Northern
microwave?
Ireland.
What did you say?
They do. Popty ping.
What?
Ping.
It's one of the
Popty
ways.
ping.
It's a colloquialism
that.
for microwave. They call it a popty ping.
Popcorn or ping?
Because it pings and it makes pop noises when you put a soup in there. And
Popty ping. Man, that's adorably cute.
yeah,
Popty ping.
we love you,
Plus, we got
Wales.
any outsiders? Croatia with Serious Sam.
Oh yeah, good pull.
Crow team out there doing the work. What's Italy? I'm trying to think what Italian. I guess those Rabbids games were made by.
Is that really?
He was an Italian. Oh, sorry, not the Rabbids Mario game. Sorry,
Oh, okay, right.
that one specifically.
Oh, that one dev who was like crying at the Ubisoft showcase where they were
Yes.
like, "Here's your good game that everyone loves." He's like, "Thank God,
That adorable
finally."
You'd have who's the Beyond Two Souls? David Cage would be up against.
Oh no,
Yeah,
would be up against
Arcane. in their sort of like
kick him down.
their own, their pool. They have their own little pool of
Oh
qualifiers.
right, yeah.
Be him and
It'd be like the Oscars
the
when they
flight sim
submitted
people.
an international game. They got to like pick who they're going to put up.
yeah, exactly.
David Cage is taking Emmanuel Macron out for lunch. He's like, "Oh, please pick. Please. Everyone's they love Heavy Rain.
Jeux video.
Ah.
I want Blasphemous to win the Spanish one. That'd be
Yeah.
pretty good.
It's a good pick.
Any game
Yeah,
devs
what-
from Portugal?
That's a good shout. I don't know. if
Yeah, there's a tons of indie devs. Huge scene down there.
Is there?
Yeah. They
You,
had
you can't just say that. You gotta
no, they had
fucking
an
say
event.
it.
You want me to list off a bunch of, I don't know,
Just say one.
PM Studios? What are they releasing? Pipistrello soon?
These words you're
Pipistrello and the
saying.
Cursed Yo-Yo? Is it? It's Pocket Trap. Sorry,
Let's see.
Trap.
pretty sure they're from Portugal, right? No, that's Brazil. Sorry, Brazil, not Portugal. My bad.
Close enough in language.
Yeah, there you go. That's why I confused it.
Call of Cthulhu is Big Moon? They're not. Big Moon are from fucking. I did not know that. There you go. Big Moon are from. I guess they're called Saber Porto now. So they got bought out by Saber Interactive, presumably. Yeah.
Okay.
So they're based in Porto. It's pretty cool.
That's cool. There's also in Lisbon. There's a large game dev. I think
What did you call me?
Game Dev Lisbon. They had an event there like last year that someone messaged me about. It was like, you should come to Portugal, and I was like, I would love to come to Portugal, but I don't think it's gonna happen on last notice or late minute.
Man.
Yeah.
They made a version of North and South, the classic Infogrames American Civil War game, which I fucking adore on the Amiga.
Really?
Yeah, it was really cool.
I love when you have these deep pulls like that. It's always good.
They released a modern version of it maybe 2 years ago called the Blue Coats. They renamed it,
Oh,
so you can play it. Yeah, I think it's.
They
be
hate
called
that
the Blue
game in
Coats
Boston.
North and South. Yeah, exactly.
I think we should do a fat session where you play North and South, and I watch the. Is there a Ken Burns Civil
You
War
watch North and
documentary?
South?
I'll watch the Ken Burns or whatever equivalent, some Civil War documentary.
80-hour
With the audio
documentary
muted,
series.
and as you play, I'll be like, "Did you know?" And I'll just like relay facts to you about it.
Yeah, like this particular general died of typhoid before the battle's command was put out, but then one of his underlings do it, and if they hadn't have done that, then the war would have swung this way, and I'd be like, look at these cannons murder these horses across the river.
meanwhile,
fun.
Jeremy's watching the Patrick Stewart North and South, and he's just like, there he is. It's the guy from Star
See,
Trek.
there he is, and he's like, you there, you are the one from my dreams.
All comes back
All comes back
to oblivion.
Thanks for the email, Simon. Appreciate it. It's on your it's you now, Latvia and Lithuania. And if you're listening right now, and we have a decent amount of listeners to this, but if you're listening right now and you're the person from Latvia or Lithuania, you have to email podcast@noclip.video. You have to do it. It's all on you. If you don't do it, we're all going to be sitting here next week twiddling our fucking thumbs, wondering where Latvia and Lithuania were. Or
Yeah,
Portugal.
rise up, Macedonia. Where you
Make it-
at?
Exactly. Make it happen. That's a podcast this week, folks. Some quick looks went up. What did you guys put up? You put up the.
You put it up.
You put it up the. I guess I did. I pressed the button.
You
I made
pressed
the
the push
thumbnails.
Yeah.
Formless Star. Formless Star.
Formless Star.
Formless.
Which is a beautiful creature collector game. Yeah, check out the quick look on that, and also just go play that game. Maybe watch the quick look and see if it's your cup of tea, and then go play it.
and then go play
Yeah.
those first 30 minutes again, and then play the next hour and a half, and then you're done.
That's true, but you'll have a different. It'll be your
True.
experience.
It will be your formed star. It will no longer be formless.
Exactly.
We also
Pick
did
it
one
up
on White
itch.
Knuckle.
And White Knuckle as well. Yeah, Formless Star is free. Sorry, it's not free. I should not say that. It is not a free game. It is a pay your own amount game over on itch.io. And then White Knuckle, yes. I still haven't played this, but watching Jesse do the quick look, I was away all weekend. I'm going to pick it up.
Your comparisons to Half-Life were incredibly apt, of course, but also they make a reference directly to G-Man in the game. So
Beautiful.
there you go.
I'm telling you, those fucking those little bugs they had were straight out of
little
Half-Life
cockroaches.
1. Yeah, those little cockroaches. Oh my God. Yeah, White Knuckle looks dope. It's
really good.
Jeremy, have you watched that quick look? Because it reminded me of, remember you were doing that rope physics thing
Yeah.
for your game? It's very similar kind of feel to it. With the,
No,
with
I
this one.
am working on a game that has climbing in it. So I
Okay,
actually
don't play it.
No, I built out like I'm basically like feature complete on it, and so I recently, because I kind of like locked in the pace of mine and the feel, I went and played finally Lorne's Lure and
cool.
White Knuckle, because I've been putting off playing any climbing
awesome.
games because I'm working on a climbing game. So I was both like delighted to finally play them and relieved at how different they are than what I've been working on.
Yeah, that's got to be a scare. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, for sure.
Awesome. We'll be at Summer Games Fix next week, so we'll talk prior to that. We'll have some other videos going up on Noclip Crew as well. And some news on all that stuff pretty soon as well. Lots of stuff going on behind the background here with that. And thank you all so much for supporting us and sending us nice messages about this whole leap we're about to take here with the crew over there. I think that's it for this week. I don't think there's any more housekeeping to do. Keep your eyes open for a Patreon show this week or next week, folks, over on Noclip, and we will have the first episode of that Everbloom series should be up pretty soon. I'm just waiting to make sure we didn't make any technical issues with that one, and then we'll send it to a round of feedback on our side and get it on up there. And the first episode, Jeremy, the one we picked for first, is about sound. So sound design.
Oh, cool.
It's a good one.
Sound recording, sound mastering, editing, how it goes in the engine, considerations for sound load and stuff like that. So it's pretty cool.
It's not a spoiler to talk about the fact that Riley, his previous work is of quite a high caliber, right? I can drop that. He did sound effects on one of the Sims games back in the day for Maxis. So it's very cool to see his process and see him actually go and do field recording and talk about, like, you know, the quality of performance as you're like raking gravel on the ground. And it's like, you know, as if you're not someone who does field recordings, you're like, oh, I'll just like gravel sounds like gravel, but it's like, oh no, what if it's like next to a bucket? And it's like, there's like so many factors to it. It's so fascinating.
Yeah, it's good fun. If you're the whole point of the series is basically to give you a sort of a much rounder aspect of like what goes into these very specific parts of games, be them doors or character art or sound in this case. So it should be. I find the videos to be very entertaining because it's just Riley and Zabir talking as well. And Riley did all the sound for Astroneer as well. He was the audio guy in Astroneer. So yeah, super qualified to talk about that. Thank you very much for listening, everyone. We will see you next week. And go play some video games. We'll see you on the other side. Bye.